So just for the record, to have your interest, to have your support, and to also receive emails and messages behind the scenes of your excitement. And I just say you are part of what gives meaning to my life. So I want to thank you for that. It's something very special to feel that the idea that you've been brewing and percolating and working relentlessly through the night and early hours in the morning. Piedad and I have like different, almost like time zones. I work till like 2 or 3 in the morning. So when she wakes up in the morning about 7, or I don't know if you wake up any earlier, she suddenly has all these messages waiting for her. And then by the time I get up about, say, like 9 a.m., I also get all her replies. So it's almost like we're in 2 different zones, but it kind of works. So it's wonderful to know that what we've dreamt about and what we've discussed for so long about, with our joint desire that this is to help you enjoy. That's, I think, the key. Enjoy communicating, particularly with your own animals. And enjoyment comes from the fact that it doesn't have to be this confusing, struggling, doubting thing, but that you feel free, that you can be creative, that it also makes you curious, so that to me is like the best formula for enjoyment. So we're very excited to get into the cards for today and tomorrow. We're going to focus on the conversation cards today, and then we're going to focus on the deep speak cards tomorrow. And the cards are live. They are ready to be accessed from the Deckible app. And it does take a little bit of getting used to if you haven't used the app before, or even used cards through an app. So I wanted this session also to be a very practical step-by-step to take you through. I've had to learn it. So it was really good that I had to kind of show you how to do it, because that made me learn it. And as much as it can be an intuitive app, what can happen is that you'll only use a very small part of it. And when, again, if you don't really get familiar with using the app, you might not then feel that inclined to use it. So what I really wanted to do was get you excited about the cards being on an app, so that you can have this concept that whenever you want to communicate with your animals, anytime, anywhere, and you think, oh, I don't know what to ask them, like that moment catches you. And we all carry our mobile devices nowadays pretty much stuck to our hips. You could just pull out, a question there and then and try. And if that question doesn't seem to take you in that moment, you've got 61 other questions. So that's, to me, is the beauty of having something that travels with you. So let's look at what we're going to cover today. Let's see, let me just bring up what we're going to be doing today so you know what to expect. So Piedad and I are here, super happy that we are co-creators. Feel very proud to give that title to ourselves, co-creators of the Communication, Conversations, and Deep Speak card decks. So literally, I want you to think of the conversation cards as having 62 conversations at your fingertips. So there's no more fumbling around going, I don't know what to talk to my animals about. I don't know what we can talk about, because there's nothing wrong with them. It's only usually when there's something wrong with them that I know what to ask them. So now you've got all these different options that you can try. And we decided to look at the questions in a way that makes it a full conversation. Often when we talk to our animals and it's linked with something that we're worried about, it can be quite a sensitive topic. It can be quite a heavy conversation. So we thought, for variety, what we wanted to do was look at conversations in the category of curiosity, things that you're curious about with your animals, things that they're curious about with you. And then we want to look at questions whereby there are things we are concerned with them, how to phrase those questions in a way that really helps open up the conversations. And then we look at questions, what we categorize as contemplation, which is where we want us to be creative when communicating with our animals in spirit. So these cards will help you to break free if you find that you've been asking kind of the same questions over and over again with your animals. And then you think, well, I really want a more intuitive communication with them. I actually want to have a deeper conversation with them. And again, if you're thinking, I don't know what to talk to them about. So these cards are supposed to help you. And you've heard me and Pierre Dad talk yesterday in our day one, how important it is the way we form, well, the way we form the questions, the way we phrase them, so that they're not just Q&A or a yes or no or a blue or a red, because they just feel sometimes a bit like an interrogation. So these cards will give you it will give you the idea so that you can start to formulate your own questions. So you can have some examples to really get you into the feel of how can questions be more intuitive so that the communications can flow through. And the cards are aimed at pet parents, animal lovers who are interested in animal communication, who already have that interest in wanting to have an intuitive connection with their animals and other people's animals as well. They're really suitable if you're already believers that your pets and your animal companions want to talk to you. This is one of the things that I've been worried about, funnily enough, you know, in the sense that we often think, oh, and I've done this to my own dog in the past. I'll say, oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. You know, oh, I'm not the right person. He's not in the mood to talk to me. And it didn't feel like it was fair because animals don't, to me, have those issues. They don't have those blocks. In fact, why wouldn't they want to communicate with us, especially when we're going to be communicating using the interspecies language? And if you found yourself saying, you know, I wish you could talk, or I know you're trying to tell me something, or I wish I could hear you, or I just want you to be happy. Is there more I can do for you? These are exactly the type of questions you've been asking and not always getting the answers. And so the 62 questions, the 62 question prompts really cover these kinds of questions, but we expand it. So what we're going to do now is bring Piedad in because we want to give you the understanding of how did we come to creating the questions that came about in the 62 cards? Why have we phrased it the way that we phrased it? And the end product of these questions is actually also through quite a rigorous testing. We had a 4-week kind of a course where we had participants come in and we created the questions and we kind of checked them out and then we practiced them on their animals as well. So over the years, Piedad and I have worked on this and we've got hundreds. I mean, when we were trying to kind of collate them, I mean, our card deck at one point was going to be like 250 questions. And we thought, oh, hang on a minute, that's probably a lot. And then we thought maybe we could do them in series, you know, we start off with a series. And we started off with the questions that you get, the 62 questions that you get. It's not like me and Piedad go, hey, try these. They have been tried. They have not just been tried by Piedad and myself. They've been tried by members in my community, members who've joined my 4-week courses to test it out. I had a course and we called it a beta test course, and they've tried it out on their animals. And we witness the transformation, we witness the answers that were coming through. We've had people in our courses or workshops that had initially said, oh, you know, I don't get much. And then we offered them a question that we phrased in the way that we have phrased it to open up the intuitive channels. And we've witnessed them saying to us, oh, I was really surprised. I just had like the information flowing in. And so Pierre and I were like intrigued by this. And so that's how it kind of built up. We wanted to give you uh we want to give you an inside experience of our brain, of our mind, to how we looked at questions that were traditionally asked in animal communication per se, and why or how we've come up with the questions that are now in the deck. So we'll give you some examples. So Pieda's going to take us through that now.
Yeah, as we have already said a few times, we have been really interested in the last few years to get better at asking questions to our animals and other people's animals too. There are a couple of things that we thought that were really, really relevant when the time to ask questions to animals came. One of them is that they shouldn't be too open, because if they are too open, the animal may not understand what the question means, or they don't know how to answer properly to the question. I mean, this question, so are you happy? What's the meaning of happy? What does an animal understand of what happiness is? Is it the same for us? Is it different for them? So if you just ask, are you happy? This question probably will cause some kind of, I don't know what to say, from the animal. And on the other hand, if they are too short, I mean, for example, as we said yesterday, this question and answer about colors or favorite person or favorite place or yes or no, if we ask all the time yes or no questions, the minute they say yes, the conversation ends. So we wanted to go further and find the balance between being an open question, and also the other thing that we thought was really, really important was bringing all the intuitive senses, or many intuitive senses, the possibility, inviting the animal to use them when they gave us their answers. Especially, and Joanna and I think that most people in our community are really fans of emotions, because animals move by emotions. They don't have a critical thinking, oh, what should I do now? I think it's better. I have to think of the pros and cons, and then I go for this. No, they move by emotions, also instinct, and emotions are very relevant. So we wanted questions that trigger, that involve all the intuitive senses and especially emotions, because it's through emotion is when we really connect with our animals, and when we really, really get the bond and then a deeper understanding and a deeper knowledge of them. So let me guide you through a few examples of what traditional or usual questions are and how we have changed them in our cards. So, as John said, we have three different categories. One is curiosity. These cards, as the name suggests, include inspiring questions that will help you to explore and learn about unexpected aspects of your animals. The concern category approaches different topics such as health issues or end of life issues from a caring, supportive way. And then we have the contemplation category, which is mainly thought to be asked to animals in spirit. We are really, really proud of all the categories and all the questions in these three categories, but I think that especially in the contemplation category, because normally, as we will see, once we have communicated with our animal in spirit, normally there are no more questions. We can't think apart from where are you, or what are you doing? Are you on a mission? Are you going to reincarnate? Then the conversation ends. But we have found that we can really, really have more questions and have deeper conversations with them. So on the left, you have the usual questions, and on the right, you have these questions belong to our deck. Okay, so For example, you want to ask your animal, do you like cuddles? This is a typical yes or no question. Imagine that your animal say yes. So that's it. Or no. Hopefully they will never say no, but yeah, that could be the case. But instead of that, look at the question we offer. How do you experience hugs? Connect with emotions and physical sensations. And as Johan says, these are not just simple questions because they are prompts. From there, you can ask, what about the smell? How does it feel? What smell do you get when you hug me? What about the sound? Can you hear my heartbeat or my breathing? Is it comforting? Is it relaxing? Or what emotions does the physical touch with me have on you? So can you see the difference? How different sounds do you like cattles to how the range of information that we can get from asking this question in a different way? Or for example, as this is something we all want to tell our animals, you know that I love you very much, don't you? And probably the animals, yeah, yeah, yes, I know. But how do you like to be shown how much I love you and appreciate you? And from there, the same. You can explore. For example, imagine that your animal gives you an answer, whatever the answer is. When in the morning you wake up and hug me, or and then and what emotion does this bring to you? What sensation? So there is always more, and more once we start asking this kind of questions. Let's move to the concern, because I'm not going to tell you all the questions in our deck. So yes, these examples should be enough for you to raise your interest and curiosity. So the concern category, are you okay when we are not together? Some of us who have rescue animals, they may have separation anxiety or are not okay when they are left alone. But are you okay when we are not together? No. When we are apart, how can we help each other feel safe and happy? That's something very different, because the animal may tell you, that's okay, I'm fine, or no, I really freak out when you leave me because I get anxious or whatever. But the next step is, how can we support? You can offer healing or I don't know, backflower remedies in order to peace them or whatever. So I think that's a huge difference between asking, are you okay? And the question we offer. Or for example, are you okay? This is also, are they the same as, are they happy? So how does your body feel today in the case that this is related to a health issue? Where there may be discomfort, is it intermittent or constant? And then we can move on a scale from 0 being nothing to 10 being a lot. Where are you at the discomfort? Is there anything I can do to support you? Do you need heat? Do you need therapy? What kind of therapy? And then we can go on and on and on and on, asking and getting more information from our animal. The contemplation category, as I said, is I tested it also in one of my consultations, and I can tell you she was a Spanish lady, and she was in awe with the questions we offered, because they are very, very special. For example, did you have a good life with me? All of us need comfort when our animal leaves this realm and go into a spirit, because we need reassurance that we did our best, that we gave them everything they needed. So did you have a good life with me? But again, we have a yes or no question. But look at the question we offer. How has living with me impacted your life and overall well-being? And this is the beginning, because you can move on to the spiritual side of their life. What impact did living with me have on your spiritual life, on your soul, on your higher self? Or emotionally, did you evolve? What did you experience? What was the dominant emotion along our lives together? So that's very, very different. And one more, was dying a painful experience? We fear that our animals had a rough time when they passed, but instead of that, why not having a more open-minded, positive approach of what passing is? Was your end of life the opening of a new adventure? Can you describe this to me? So, how does it sound? Can you see the difference between the usual questions and the way we have rephrased them? And what I, because we have read them so many times with the proofreading, and when we're working on them, when we tested them and everything else, it's that every time I read them, I can see that they are so deep that they can open up such beautiful conversations, that I think that it's going to be a very amazing journey with our animals once we start with them. So yeah. Any questions, anything you'd like to ask about the process or how we got there? The contemplation, eh? I know, Lauren, you are very drawn to animals in the spirit, and this is a beautiful, beautiful category. So yeah, I'm sure you will enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much. Okay, Johan.
Oh, thank you for that, Piedad. I hope that was helpful for you to appreciate that it's taken a journey of testing it out, because it's so important when we're offering you a way. And I always like to use the word suggestion, because animal communication is incredibly personal. You have your own style, you have your own approach. Whoever you are learning from, whoever you're listening to, they are sharing how animal communication works for them. It's not, this is how it is. So as much as Piedad and I are so enthralled and so excited about the rephrasing of the questions from the traditional way, we are also saying to you, it is a suggestion, that it's something that you can try. And that's what I'd like you to do now that you have 62 questions at your fingertips, so that if one of the questions you're not experiencing information coming through, move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. I'm a great believer in momentum. Sometimes, yes, it can be about pausing and giving it some time, but there is this where you're not allowing your critical mind to come in and take over. So when you have the variety of the questions, it starts to help you for your mind to then go, oh, okay, hang on a minute, I'm a little bit more relaxed now. I'm on to the fourth and fifth. Oh, this question really draws me. And that's what gave me the idea to create a card deck, because card decks are intuitive energy tools. If all the questions, at one point, I had thought about putting all the questions like in a booklet, you can just flip the page and you got question 1, 2, and you can just scroll down. But I felt like that wasn't intuitive enough. In fact, some of us might almost feel like we have to work through every single question. So it was important that your approach to communication feels intuitive, feels impulsive, sometimes feels playful, and even if the question is of the concerned category, we can come in with curiosity. So initially the idea came about where I thought that we could create a jar, and you have all these little questions on pieces of paper, and then you'd fold up the paper and then you put it all in the jar. It's all about the fun of it. And then you've got these jar of questions that you're not then thinking, oh, I don't know what to ask my animal about, because you can just dip your hand in the jar, pull out a question, and then look at that. And then we also feel that that's not like You have to answer that question. You could pick one and go, oh, don't really feel it today with this question. And then you got another lot of questions in the jar. So it kind of went from that playful energy into how can I get this jar to you guys? I thought I can't really create a jar with questions in it and pass that on to you. So that's really when the card deck idea came about. And creating a card deck is completely new to me, a new exercise. So I had to really look into like, how do you go about it? How do you actually make it into a form, digital, even if it's a digital, it's a form to get it to you so that you can have easy access to it. So remember that because it's in a card deck form, hopefully immediately we feel that it's something we can play with and not feel like it has to be a serious book to study and it's a course. Okay. Any thoughts or questions so far? Okay. Right. So as Piedad has shared with you, we put it into 3 categories and we've color coded the cards. So you have green for curiosity, we have gold or yellow for concern, and we have purple for contemplation so that they're easy to recognize when you want to pick a card. So Piedad has shared those questions for you. So this is what they will look like on your card app. So curiosity, you've got the question, how do you experience hugs? Connect with emotions and physical sensations. And then we have, how do you like to be shown? How much I love and appreciate you. And then we have the concern, which is in the yellow or gold. When we are apart, how can we help each other feel safe and happy? How does your body feel today? Where there may be discomfort, is it intermittent or constant? And then the purple represents the cards with questions that you can share with your animals in spirit. How has living with me impacted your life and overall well-being? You may even look at this question and feel that you can ask your animal who is currently in their physical body, living a physical life with you. And it doesn't matter if they are a puppy or 7 years old or in their senior, because we really want to know. This is such a deeper question than are you happy? Because really, when we are asking, are you happy? We want to know if their life with us is a good one. So this question actually can be applied to both living and animals in spirit. And the contemplation card for was your end of life the opening of a new adventure? This could actually be something you can ask your animal as they are in the latter stage of their transitioning, so that we're not afraid, because often we're so caught up with their dying process that all we're concerned about is, when is the right time? And, are they in pain? And all those are important questions too. But when our animals are very close to leaving their physical body, their spirit becomes stronger. Their spirit wants to communicate. So it's a beautiful way of allowing our animals to communicate with us at a time when we are really worried, but it allows us to also shift the perspective of where they're at when they're in that stage. So the conversation cards deck also offers a full guidebook. And so when you're in a physical, trying to kind of compare what would you get in a physical card deck to what would you get in a digital card deck? So we wanted to give you a full guidebook, which is a downloadable PDF. So you can click on the card, and I'll show you as we go into the tutorial in a minute, where you can sign up and then you'll get the download through your email. So you can print off the guidebook if you want. And that guidebook has lots of notes in there around the concept and how to use the cards. And hopefully that will be a very valuable resource for you as well. So you can get that free you can get it free on the 3-day trial anyway. So we've got the quick guide just to let you kind of guide you where you can decide if you want to choose the category, or you can just go, do you know what? I'm going to shuffle the cards. because there might be a time when you think, today I just want to maybe talk about something I'm curious about. What questions can I ask my animal when it comes to curiosity? So then you'll go to the green cards. And there may be times when you think, I'm really worried about my horse today, and I don't know how to ask or what to ask. Then you look at the orange or the gold cards, because they will have questions geared towards more how to phrase questions around things that you're concerned about. Or it may be that you say to yourself, today I really want to speak to, my cat that's been in spirit for 20 years, and I never thought that I could communicate with my animal who'd passed 20 years ago, because what would I ask? What would I ask my cat who's been gone so long? And pick one of the purple cards and see. So the categories can be a way that you decide what kind of conversation you want. And you will also have a free download of a meditation that can accompany your cards as you spend time with the cards. The meditation was created by Piedad, and we've had the honor of Annika Pasman, who is a harpist. And what her work is, she's an animal communicator, and she combines animal communication with her music, where she channels the energy of the animal, and then it comes through into creating and composing the music, the composition of the music. So she composed the music to accompany the meditation. So again, I'll show you on the app how you can click on the card, and then it will take you to a website that you sign up for the meditation, and then you'll get it in an email, and it will be downloadable for you to keep. Okay, so those are the free gifts that you can get from the card decks. All right, so before we get into the Deckible tutorial itself, any questions so far? Are you all excited about what questions you can start asking your animals and talking to them? I also want to give thanks to members who were the beta testers of these questions. We have some here. Can you raise your hands? Because I can see Leslie, you were the beta tester. Amanda, you were the beta tester. Nicole, I think Carol. Who else was there? Lauren, you're a beta tester. And I think Lorraine was. Yeah, so they're here. They're proving to us that it works. So it's wonderful that they've been part of the build up to us launching the card decks. And that's the other thing that Piedad and I are so grateful for, is this working together. And the buzzword right now for us is collaboration, is co-creation. And without your help, without you testing it out on us, but most importantly, your openness to taking on board our suggestion and checking it out for us. So very, very thankful that you played such a vital part in this. Okay. We're just going to go to the chat box for a minute. Well, Sheena, you're saying, how can I get this deck in India? It's all digital. So I'm going to go into now, number one, how to install the app. And then we're going to go through how you can start playing with the card deck. So the reason I decided to do a tutorial, because I am one of those people that if I was to buy a flat pack, okay, I look at the instructions, I think I can't be bothered. I'll just do it intuitively. So I either get a wonky table, or I have like, I don't know, 15 screws that are just like, oops, what am I supposed to do with this? Or I've put things like upside down. So, when it's something like that, to get the most effective use of a system or an app, if I show you kind of like the basics and then the rest of it, please go and play with it. It literally is, the more you play with it, the more you get to know it. It's similar to a card deck in a way, because when you first get a card deck, what I learned was that you would carry that card deck all the time with you when it's a brand new deck, because you're wanting to infuse your energy, but it's about creating a relationship with that card deck. So I used to would, if it was a physical card deck, I would have it next to my bedside table so that when I go to sleep, it's next to me. When I wake up, I'd carry it around until that card deck is really, I'm used to it. And the same with often when we use a card deck, we might just be familiar with certain number of cards because they're the ones that we pull. But the more we get to know each individual cards, it becomes so much more part of our daily lives. So I thought I'd just work through the digital app. I had to learn it myself. And again, typical me, when I first got the app, I was like, oh, click this, click that, click, click, click. And then it's like, oh, I don't understand it. Who's been just clicking? And then you kind of get it, but then you think, oh no, why has it gone back to this page? Or why has it got me out again? And that's the thing with computers. It's that you just click a button, it's very sensitive. And then you think, oh, I've got to start all over again. So I thought if I just give you a little bit of a run through, then you can play with it at your leisure. And we've got tomorrow as well to go over it again, because today I didn't want to overwhelm you, or rather overwhelm myself, to create this tutorial. And then tomorrow we can kind of look at more, different functions. It is quite incredible, I will say, what Deckible has created. I have never heard of them before because I wasn't really looking to do digital card decks. I didn't even know digital card decks existed. Did you? I don't know. But the reason I have chosen to do a chosen to do a digital card deck is not because I don't want a physical card deck. I know quite a number of you have messaged me as well saying, will you be producing or publishing a physical card deck? And I would love to. I would love to do both, because then it reaches everyone. The thing with a physical card deck is I need to be very ambitious. And I have to promise you, I did actually become very ambitious. And yesterday I wrote to Hay House, Hay House Publishing Company. I didn't get anywhere, okay? Because there's this massive, big Hay House, but you got to dream big. The reason that the big names have so many card decks is because they've got this huge distributor, which is a huge publishing house like Hay House. The cost of creating a physical card deck is much, much more than even publishing a book. And at first I thought, that's ridiculous. How can that be? But if you think about it, for a book, the design and the print is for black and white words as your pages. You have the cover, front and back, right? That's your design and your printing costs. But when you look at a card deck, every card is a different design. So every question is a different design. And so because of the kind of work that's required, I decided that I'm not going to delay, sharing this concept with you in a very usable form. So I looked for alternative, and then I discovered Deckible. And Deckible's been around, I would say, about 4 years. So I'm glad that they've had 4 years, because when I first found out about them, they were only 2 years into creating this app. And there was a lot of, as you can imagine, when you're just 2 years old, lots of troubleshooting to do. So they've ironed out most of it, because being a digital app, there's lots of bugs and things that, so things might be still very clunky in terms of the person having to publish it on their app. But as a user, when it was all published and I was testing it out, it really is very fun. It's actually a very sophisticated app. It actually wants you to play, wants you to be tactile, wants you to touch the card, wants you to make it small, make it big, wants you to move it around. So it's quite childlike. And that's what I was so pleased that it allowed that and it offered that. Okay, so let's have a look. So just to answer your question, Sheena, if you're in India, it depends on your mobile device. whether it's compatible with the app called Deckible, but I'm going to show you how to find the app and then install it. Olga says, maybe to have a possible to print it from digital form to paper form yourself. Yeah, there's a thing called print, like you print your own. And I would say that I may have an issue, not with you, with copyright, if it was put out there. Can you see? But I'm going to work on it. I am going to find a publishing company. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this. I didn't get through to Hay House, but I got a phone call from a publishing company that's associated with Hay House. And they phoned me earlier today. So who knows? It's going to be a long run. It's more about my book that they spoke to me about. But you never know, right? You know me, I'll dream big, okay? And if you all send me your fab vibes, but can you see why I don't want to delay you getting these cards? Because for me to get to a publishing company that will do it for me in a way that I can manage, you'll be looking at 4 or 5 years. So I don't want you to wait that long. So let's have the digital for now, and then who knows what will happen in the future. Okay. So let's go to Deckible. So let's see. Okay, let's just check. Who here have downloaded the app already? Put your hand up. Okay, who needs help to find the app to put it on your phone? Anyone need help? Okay. There's a possibility, depending on how young, new your phone is, if it's of an older version, it may not be compatible with the app. So I apologize if that's the case, because I've got 2 phones, one that I use for the last 5 years, and I can't download the app on there. Funnily enough, I got a newer phone 2 years ago, and I can download it on that. So just be aware that it could be that. Dee says, I don't use a cell phone. No, you can't download it on a computer. They haven't got to that point yet. So at the moment, you have to be patient and wait. At some point, Deckible can make it accessible on the laptop. For now, it's accessible on tablet and mobile phone. So wherever it is that you get your apps from, so either your app store, be it Play or Apple, you need to search for Deckible. So let me bring up their logo so that you can look for it. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Can you see the top left-hand corner? Purple, blue with the word Deckible. So hopefully once you find it, you can install it. My screenshot says update because I've already installed it. But if this is the first time you're installing it, you'll have it says install, and you'll click that. And then what will happen is that you need to open the app, and then you'll create the account. So I'm going to move on if that's okay. And then we can always kind of catch up with each other. So once you've downloaded the app, you create an account. And then you should get a confirmation email to let you know that you've got the app. Okay. And then what you want to do is search for conversation cards, or you can search under Joanne Yo, and then you'll get both my card decks come up. Pop in the chat box if you are on the 3-day free trial. Just write the word trial. Or pop in the chat box bought, because you've decided, I want these card decks bought. So give me either trial or bought. Oh, Jackie, that's so sweet. I will buy. Okay. I think it's a lovely idea that Deckible is offering a 3-day trial, because this is why I wanted to do the 3-day event, to really take you through how to access these cards. They're not like ordinary Oracle cards, because Oracle cards, you don't need instructions. You just look at it, you shuffle it, you know, and there you go. But I really want you to, it's kind of a combination of like a learning card and an intuitive card. So, all right. So Olga, you've done both. You got the trial and you've bought it. Okay. So Paula, he says, I will buy 2 if I can get Deckible to open. Okay. So if you cannot find the Deckible app, it's because your phone may not be compatible. So that's the only thing to consider. Amanda, you're on a trial. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's such a great idea to have a trial. And you probably, I hope you don't get too distracted and you see thousands of other card decks and you're like, oh, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. Jackie's nodding, because you know card decks are addictive. But isn't it amazing to have it at your literally your fingertips? So okay. So once you found the app and you've installed it, and you found my cards, and today we're going to just focus on the conversation cards. So you got the search bar, so that's how you can search for the cards. And if you click where it says more info, it will show you, okay, the info. Now, what we'll focus on is, I'm just going to, so once you click and tap on the card or the box cover, do you get this screen? Okay, you get options for browse, blank canvas, and layouts, I think, at the bottom. Okay. And we're only going to stick with one. So that was me. You see, when I started, I was like clicking all over the place. I'll click random layout, click blank canvas, and it was just got me messy. So I thought we'll just stick with browse today. So click browse, and it should show you a card on your main screen. Does it look similar? And what you can do at this stage, because you are using the menu browse, you can scroll. So you can just swipe and it'll take you through every card. On the card itself, swipe. And I'm just going to share a different screen so that you get an idea of the cards themselves. Let me come out of this presentation. So here are the 62 cards plus the guide cards. So when you're swiping it, you should see all these different cards. So where it's called quick guides, they're like, imagine your shortcut to a guidebook. Okay, so we give acknowledgement to the beta testers. You've got the card to download the free meditation. You've got me reminding you, if you haven't bought my book yet, how about taking a look, and then you got the cards themselves, okay, with all the questions. So you cannot tell me that you will run out of things to ask your pets. There's no excuse. I could go through every single one of them. So you have 62 questions. So when we say it's a 62 question card, we don't include the number of guide cards. These are actual 62 questions you have. Okay. So those are so green is curiosity, yellow is concern, and purple is contemplation. Everybody okay so far? Anybody lost? Okay, good. So once you have, let me go back to my thing. So this is just a way of finding out what your cards are. So what I want you to do now is where you see the purple button that says view on canvas.
Joanne, sorry to interrupt. Bettina says she's lost.
Okay. Where are you at? And then we'll see if we can move.
Well, when I click on the image of the card deck,
You're
Then
right. You
I
tap
don't get
instead of
I
swipe.
tap. Yeah, I don't get on the I don't get any browser. I just get it says get this deck, and that's the only opportunity there is. I can
Okay.
buy it or not. That's
Ooh.
it. There's
So
no
on your okay.
browsing or anything else.
Might have to do a one-to-one with you, Bettina.
But I think I tried it this afternoon, and that was on the iPad, and there was the opportunity, but not. I don't know if it's different on the.
I'll do a messenger with you. We'll work it through. And yes, Iris, I'm so sad if it's not on your phone. Oh, I know. How old is your phone? I mean, please don't buy a new phone just for the app, but you know, it is one of the things, and I couldn't really work around that because I think the way apps work is, I don't know, some of you might know more than me about apps, is, you know, they've got to kind of design their software compatible with the phone and what it can do. You know, we're going into kind of software talk. So I know that my phone, which is 2 years old, will take it, but my phone that's 5 years old won't take it. So I do apologize for that. And yeah, we'll find another way, or you might just have to manifest quickly the publishing company. Okay. So if any of you are, if you're any of you are lost, I'm very happy to kind of, you know, meet with you and help you work through the deck. Okay, so are you all at where you can click view on canvas, and then you should have this kind of blank screen where it says drag cards here. Oh, actually, Bettina, you brought up a good point. What I've learned about the app is quite sensitive. It's different when you tap, and it's different when you swipe. So watch your finger action. Okay. So again, being digital, it has to take on board instructions. So tapping can kind of, you know, ask for a different instruction, and swiping can be a different action. So let's go back to my screen. So you can now get to this, and what you want to do is where you've got the round button with the plus, click on that, and it will bring up all the cards at the bottom. Right, so at the bottom you can swipe it. Can you try and swipe it? So swipe it to the left, and you'll just come up with all the cards. So for the moment, one step at a time, I want to show you how you can access the guidebook. Put your finger on the card where it says quick guide, download the full guidebook, and drag it to the main screen. And then don't touch anything for now. Okay, so just drag it to the main screen. And now you can kind of play around with it. You can see if you can straighten it, you can make it bigger, you can pinch it, you can expand it. So start to feel confident with playing around with it. Yeah. Now, to get the guidebook, you need to tap on the card. It will look the same, except the color at the top and the bottom has changed to gold. And what that means is you've got different menus. So in your gold border, your menus are zoom, guide, and deck. If you click zoom, you'll see that the card then gets bigger. So the different color for the border tells you you've got different menus. So to access the guide, see where it says at the bottom guide, click on that. And it should flip you to this page where you've got a bar, a button that says bonus content. If you click on that, that will take you to a website where you can sign up for the guidebook. All right, are we okay? Let me check the chat box. Yes. So Paula, you're lost. The lost ones, don't worry. We'll work out a one-to-one where I can guide you. Okay. Especially if you've bought the, but this, I have done a video just on the tutorial and I've uploaded it on YouTube. So it may be that you can work with the YouTube and pause it, you know, slowly. And if that doesn't work, message me. Okay. I get it because I was the same when so I really want you to be able to get comfortable with the app, and you can't go wrong. I mean, the way I'm taking it with you one at a time is probably quite, you know, cumbersome, but when you're playing with it, you'll work it out. So don't be afraid to play, you know, on the app. Oh, good, Lauren, you found the YouTube video worth it, useful. Diana says probably only works with board, not with trial. You mean to download the guide? Oh yeah, it could be a point. I hadn't thought about that. Okay. But you can still play around with the card decks. Okay, so to come out of the guidebook, you should have a little X either on the left hand top, you know, top of your thing, just to come out of it. So then you're back to the purple page. And then you should see where I've circled red, the menu return. Click on that and it should take you back to where you were. And if for any reason you tap click and it takes you right back to where your first page is, that's good practice. You just click back in. We all okay with this? Right? All okay? Just looking at your faces in case any agonizing facial expressions. No? Okay, cool. So now we're going to start playing a little bit more. Okay. So you're on this page. To choose another card, click the round button with the plus sign. And then you'll see all the cards appear at the bottom again. Just swipe it to the left so you can almost get a feel for every card. And you should see your shuffle side. What that means is it's just the top of the card. You don't know what the questions are. Is that right? Okay, when you swipe it to the left, you'll see all of that. And then you'll see the menu where it says flip. Tap that and see what happens. It flips it to the question side. So now you can browse by swiping to pick the question that you want. So you can either be intuitive and pick a question without seeing what the question is, or you can choose the question that you're really drawn to. So just keep tapping on flip just to play around with it. It will just keep flipping for you. Everybody okay? Yeah. So you're all happy with the flip side? I quite like that button. I keep tapping it. With the deep speak, there's actually 4 sides, so you can just flip, 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 flip. But the conversation cards is 2 sides. At one point, I was really adventurous, like, can we do 6 sides? So that was one of the advantages of the digital card decks compared to a physical card deck, because a physical card deck, you can only have 2 sides, you know, so I was getting a bit carried away. Okay. I think my designer, but I just want to acknowledge the designer who's worked with me. She's called Blue Johnston. She's not on social media, and she's been with me since 2015. She designed my book cover. The patience this woman had with working with this, but not just that, she really got Piedad and I to describe the intention, describe the energy that we wanted, and she really tuned into us. So these are, you know, I'm so grateful for her designs. Okay, sorry. Let's go to, so now you've learned the flip button, which is so much fun. What you can do now is let's play with the shuffle. button. So you can choose to shuffle with the question side up, or you can choose to shuffle with the shuffle side. Does that make sense? So click shuffle, and what happens? You should get a button at the bottom that says stop shuffle and play, or just let it stop itself. Okay. We're all shuffling? Do you like it? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Now, what it does is it's shuffled it, but it's all the cards are at the bottom. Because at first I thought shuffle meant like it will just pick a card for you. Basically, what it's done is shuffled the order that the cards were in, and the order of the cards, or the choices of the cards, are always remaining at the bottom. Yeah. So you can just click shuffle. So that was me, flip, 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 shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then once you've shuffled and they appear at the bottom, can you see how they're no longer like all orange, all blues, all purples? Because when you first get the deck, they're obviously arranged in the order that we've set the cards out. But after shuffling, it should shuffle it out. Okay. So now put your finger on a card and drag it up. And then just flip, 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 play with the flip. So drag it into the main screen. So at the moment, you'll have 2 cards on the main screen at the moment. Yeah. And just play with it. I want you to pinch it, make it bigger, flip it, so that, again, it becomes very tactile. All right. So you're not afraid to kind of bother it. Okay, so now you got 2 cards on the screen. What if you don't want the 2 cards because it looks untidy? The OCD in me was like, oh, how do I make it so it's just a 1 card? Right. This one takes a little bit of getting used to. To get the card that you don't want, just hold it, like press it and hold it and move it down towards the trash can. And the trash can should light up red as you're dragging it down towards the trash can. Then that would get rid of the 1 card that you don't want, or you can get rid of both the cards that you don't want. How are you all doing with that? You can do it? Okay. For some reason, I struggled with that one. I kept lifting my finger off, and then it was like, oh, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so now you've got this nice, neat 1 card on your screen, so you can concentrate and look at that question, for example. Now, how do you get back? So just to get used to the screen, where it has lilac or gold, each of them will have a different menu at the bottom. So where is lilac, the menu is journal, meditation, share, layout, or flip. So for now, are you on the purple? Are you on the lilac? Let me just check. I don't know where I'm at in a minute. Are you on the lilac screen? Try journal, click journal and see what happens. It means you've got your card and you have the option to make notes on the app themselves. Okay, so that's one option. Actually, how do you get back? I forgot to put that instruction in. Tap the card. So then when you tap the card, it turns it into a goal side. I don't know why my image hasn't come up. And when you have the gold, your menu are Zoom, Guide, or Deck. Not every card will have Guide highlighted or Video highlighted, but you can click on Zoom and the card will expand and fill up the screen. Let me see if I can refresh my screen and you can get, oh, there it is. Let me put it back on present. Oh, I think it's jumped me all the way back to the beginning now. Let me find that. So we were playing around with the lilac borders and the yellow borders. So okay. So when you tap on the card, it changes the menu to yellow and gold. When you tap on the screen, the white page, it takes it back to the lilac screen. Does that work for you? Okay. Let me just check the chat box. I can see somebody's in there. Okay, no worries. So now we just repeat the whole thing. So if you want another card, go to the circle and the plus sign. And then all the cards show at the bottom. Now try where it has the menu quick draw. Click on quick draw. What do you get? A card is automatically chosen for you. Yeah. So that's the basic. This is like, to me, the first step. The rest of it you can play, and we'll do more tomorrow. But I just wanted to get you to familiar yourself that there's the yellow or gold screen, and then there's the lilac screen, because it took me a while to realize that they were different. And there's a difference between tapping on the card and tapping on the screen. But I hope you really enjoyed the flip and the shuffle and just dragging the cards. You can drag like 10, 11 cards and then drag them down the bin. So really, really play around with it as much as you give yourself permission to do. Does it help to have that tutorial a little bit to familiarize yourself? Yeah. Any questions? Does it feel like it's something you can enjoy? That's the key. Worst case scenarios, tap, 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 tap. And then it'll take you right out, and then you can kind of start again. So at the beginning of the menu, we chose browse. It has the layouts, 1 card layouts, 3 card layouts. They may not be so relevant for our cards because we're not reading the cards. These are more, you know, for you to choose the questions that you want, or you can be intuitive. You could connect with your animal where you don't have the questions in, you know, on the side, and you click shuffle. You can say to your rabbit, you know, I'm going to press shuffle now. At any point you want me to stop, I'm going to press stop, and then I'm just going to drag a card up, and then what would that question be? So that's how I'd love for you to play with it. Thank you so much for holding in there with the digital stuff. I know that it's quite a, I don't know, it's a funny thing, isn't it? I mean, I'm so grateful for the internet. I'm so grateful for things like the digital, because I can reach you guys. I would never have met any of you if it weren't for being online. And it doesn't mean that I don't dream of having a physical deck, but what I didn't want was to delay being able to offer it to you in this form. And I still feel that it's quite a playful product that we can play. So tomorrow we're going to go through the Deep Speak cards, another chance to kind of play together on the tutorial, but we really want to offer you the idea of the Deep Speak, how it works, because the Deep Speak card comes with support. The animals persons, we have, there's Deb. Deb, for example, she has Roxy and Buffy as the animal teachers, featured animals, and Nicole has Dee Dee and Heiko. They are going to be involved in helping you if you wanted support, or if you wanted to send in your communications. So it's not like you just get these animals and then you get that questions, and then, you know, you can choose that that's enough for you. But if you wanted Deb to share with you what her feedback is for your communication, there is a way to access that as well. So we're very grateful to the animals, teachers, persons who are involved in these card decks, they have committed their time to be offering feedback. So it's not a matter of, hey, here's my animal, Joanne, feature them and that's it. No, I had to rope them in and say, no, part of the whole thing is you are also supporting people who will feel nervous about submitting their communications. And we've all been there. We've all been nervous. So I chose nice humans, nice and honest and supportive humans to be in the decks. Okay. Any thoughts or feelings or things you want to say to Piedad or myself before we bid you good night and see you tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be sending the replay out. Please check your spam folder. It's one of those things these days that particularly Gmail, they really do send stuff into their spam a lot of the time. So tomorrow is a different time, 12 noon for London, UK time zone. So if you can't make it, there will be the replay. By Sunday or Monday, you will get all 3 replays in one document so that you can keep that. The replays are for a lifetime, so there's no time limit to it. Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you for being excited with us. It means the world to us. And Piedad, any closing words?
Looking forward tomorrow also because this conversation cards deck is special, but the Deep Speak is absolutely amazing, and I really love the animal teachers there, the persons behind the animal teachers, and all the beautiful energy that we have brought together to create that deck. So I really, I'm really looking forward to share everything about it tomorrow. So yeah.
Olga, your emojis are amazing. and if you want a one-to-one with me to go through the app to make sure, because then it's easier for me to see what's on your screen, message me, email me, you will have my help. Okay.
Yes, Paula, there are 2 different decks. One is the conversation cards deck and the other one is the Deep Speak card deck. So there are 2 different. Yeah.
Not content with all the work we had to do for one deck, we decided to just go for it into 2 decks. There was a point when I said to Peter, whose idea was this? And he went, yours. But we're so glad because to me, they go together. They have a different angle to each, but it's all about the fact that it's the animal that leads in the questions. In the conversation cards, you are asking the animal the question. And in the Deep Speak card, which we'll go into, is the animal presenting the question or the topic to you, which will really connect you with the animal that you are talking to them. They are talking to you. Right. So see you all tomorrow. And thank you again for your support. And
Thank you.
See you all. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.